day.
Hey everyone, in this video I'll guide you through achieving more control over your generations. I generated all these clips using the 25GB FP8 version. You might think it constantly swaps and offloads data to the SSD during the entire generation process, since we're talking about 25 gigs here. Surprisingly, it didn't. It only swapped data to the SSD when changing models and nodes. The rest of the time, it stayed comfortably within the VRAM and the 32 gigs of system RAM. You can see it for yourself. I've included the live generation at the end of the video. That said, extensive use can still impact the lifespan of your SSD. So if you're concerned about that, I recommend using the 16GB Q5km GGUF version, which is much less taxing on your hardware. Now, this is crucial. Just having the workflow, reference images, and models isn't enough to guarantee a great generation. You really need to master your prompting if you want high-quality results. In your prompt, you need to describe the core actions and events exactly as they unfold over time. The key phrase here is core actions. Try to stick to just 5 or 6 core actions in your prompt. Don't try to describe every tiny detail, as this will confuse the model and cause it to completely ignore your main actions. Another pro tip: avoid redescribing everything from your reference image in high detail. Just provide clear instructions and audio cues for what you want to happen. Also, don't expect a flawless outcome on the first try. For instance, it took me 4 attempts to get a solid result for this action sequence. Initially, I tried generating a 20-second clip, but it just wasn't working, even after heavily fine-tuning the prompt. The car kept stopping during the transition. It seems the model struggles to transition into a different biome while maintaining the vehicle's speed. I finally got a usable result only after cutting the length down to 12 seconds. The takeaway here is that the model currently struggles with long, high-octane action scenes. Keep that in mind if your goal is to generate extended action sequences. Also, when prompting action scenes, avoid words like violently to prevent total generation disasters. Focus on describing smooth movements instead. Now, let's check out the prompt adherence, along with the strengths and weaknesses of some of these generations.
What's going on? This can't be real! For the Allfather!
All right, give me that energy, hold it, and go.
Watch this.
Perfect, absolutely stunning.
Nailed it.
Before we do anything else, head to your main ComfyUI directory and open the Update folder. Run the ComfyUI stable update if you're on the stable version, or use the Update ComfyUI bat file if you're on the nightly build. I know many of you experience different generation times or run into bugs because of version mismatches, even when using the exact same workflow. So here's my specific environment. Every clip in this video was generated using these exact versions and builds on my 8GB RTX 5060. I use the nightly version because I do a lot of testing and development, but be warned, it can be highly unstable and break your generations if you aren't comfortable troubleshooting. Stick with the stable version if you want a smooth, hassle-free experience. I actually removed the LTX Spatial upscaler when creating and optimizing this particular workflow. The optimization has reached a point where we no longer need to do a downscale generation first and then upscale it through a separate process. With this setup, it's all handled in a single process rather than two, which makes it much faster and less stressful on your system. Things have gotten even more convenient lately with the release of RTX Super Resolution upscaling for ComfyUI. If you're using the FP8 version, connect the diffusion model loader to the set model node, and if you prefer the GGUF version, connect the unit loader instead. There's one more crucial setting specific to this workflow: the introduction of the middle frame. It doesn't actually have to be placed exactly in the middle of your generation. Let's assume you're generating a 20-second clip at 24 frames per second. The total frame count for this generation would be 481. The exact placement of that middle frame depends entirely on your prompt and what you're trying to achieve. For example, if you want to introduce the middle frame at the 7-second mark of your 20-second video, set the value to 169. If you want it at the 10-second mark, the value should be 241. For the 12-second mark, it's 289, and so on. As for the other workflow settings, like model downloading, installation, and general configuration, I broke all of that down step by step in my previous video. I won't waste your precious time repeating it here, so definitely refer back to that video if you need the full breakdown. I'll leave the link to it down below. The tutorial breakdown starts right at the 2-minute mark. Now check out the live generation so you can see exactly how much offloading is happening behind the scenes.